So, I am Oshin Jain from Makeup Bhavan Foundation and I'm in conversation with Ashfaq Jalal. He is a final year student at IIT Madras and an alum of Invention Factory 2023 hosted at IIT Bombay. He is currently the co founder and CEO of QPo Cabs, a ride sharing startup based in Chennai that aims to solve the daily commuting challenges faced by millions. Their platform is designed to provide commuters with affordable, reliable, and safe transportation options, bridging the gap left by public transit system. So, Ashfaq, thank you so much for joining me in this conversation.
Sure, it's a great pleasure, Oshin.
Okay, so my first question is what motivated you to pursue entrepreneurship while you're still in college?
Right, so this is something which I've heard a lot from many people that okay, while you're a student, you may not have that much of good experiences in order to start a company or run a company. You need some amount of corporate experiences and so on and so forth. But to be honest, it's been around more than a year since we started this entrepreneur journey, and never even on a single day we thought that we lack corporate experience in order to run the company. So that was one thing. And with respect to the motivation, we always wanted to do something innovative. We always wanted to, I personally wanted to do something that can impact the society and people as a whole. And so that with that regard, I have been trying to find opportunities right from the first year in my college. I was the part of, in the entrepreneurship cell of IITM for my in my second and third year. And also at the end of second year, I got the opportunity to be part of Make a Bound Foundation in Invention Factory, where we got the zeal and then the entire experience of finding a problem by ourselves and then making a solution out of it in an innovative fashion, so that the replication is hard, at the same time a problem is solved. And then the procedure of Invention Factory was like filing a provisional patent and then presenting it to good amount of judges and everything. So that entire experience gave us the that validation that okay, we have a good thing in ourselves in terms of this entrepreneur kida or mindset. So why not leverage this even beyond Invention Factory? So we indeed tried to do something with the Invention Factory product itself. Unfortunately, that did not take off very well. But we thought, okay, let's do something else. Obviously, failures are the stepping stones for each one's success, right? So we thought, okay, let's do something more. And yeah, here we are today.
That's incredible. It seems like your entire academic journey has been leading up to this moment, and I'm really glad that Invention Factory helped you out in that particular process. So,
Definitely.
since you touched upon it, I wanted to ask you you are a student entrepreneur. What are some challenges that you face because of that?
Right. So being a student entrepreneur is very, very, delightful in a fashion that we don't have to think about our bills. We don't have to think about our rent. We don't have to think about, supporting a family or anything of that sort. So it has gone its own good amount of advantages. I'll also talk about the advantages towards the end. But with respect to the challenges, one major challenge which we face is with respect to the seriousness that we show outside. That is, although we are working so hard, so freaking hard in order to pull whatever we are trying to pull off, and also we are talking with so many people and doing a lot of different stuff, very similar to whatever big companies are doing at the scale of whatever big companies are doing. But the tag of being a student brings a particular connotation to the outside world that okay, these guys are doing it just for a resume point. These guys are doing it maybe just to get a good job, or these guys are doing it just to get an admission at a B school or whatever. But those things being said, I'm not denying that there are many people who are doing it for that particular aspect too, and it is not wrong as well. Being an entrepreneur does give a good amount of experiences, but I would like to, request and, rather encourage, the outside world and the professional world in terms of investors and in terms of the entire ecosystem and community that, there is a certain set of students who want to be among the 1% of the successful student startups. Like it's usually said that 99% of student startups fail. And most of the 99 falls under that bracket of doing it for a resume point or getting an admission at somewhere. But there are a few good set of people who want to be in that 1%, and we are proudly to be part of that 1%. We are trying to do something very incredible and transformative and revolutionary.
I think you very aptly put what kind of layout there is, what the landscape looks like for student entrepreneurs, and why there
Right.
are so many difficulties that you face. With this, I would like to ask you more questions about your startup, starting with the
Sure.
name. I find the name QPo Cabs very interesting. So, what's the story behind
Okay.
that?
Right, that's again very interesting. So I would say it was kind of it was kind of a serendipity moment for us when me and my co-founders met, and when we were getting along with each other, and then discussing about this particular idea and stuff. So obviously, the first step for any startup is to talk to the potential customers or prospects and take user interviews and identify whether is there actually a demand or not. So when we were in that process of talking to so many people, in our case it is daily commuters. So we used to go to every auto stand talking to drivers. We used to go to every bus stop talking to commuters. We used to sit in buses. We used to sit in autos and talk to our fellow passengers and stuff. So we did this for around 1 or 2 months. And one major phrase that we heard from everyone in Tamil was that we want to reach there quickly. So this was translated into Tamil when we were talking to them. And since we are trying to be a local community brand, targeting shorter distances and looking more on the community aspect, in Tamil, go means po. And everyone wanted to go quickly to some point. So we thought, okay, let's make it as quickly po, which is quickly go. And yeah, quick plus po became QPo as we thought more and more about this.
That's really cool, and it really grounds you in the fact of how you are such a local brand, and you are
Right.
culturally motivated. That's really
Hmm.
cool. So, I want to ask you, what makes QPo Cabs different from other existing ride-hailing services in the market?
Right, cool. That's again a good question. So one particular major point of difference is our core philosophy. That is, there are many ride-hailing apps in the market. There are so many to name for everyone. We know all of us have at least 4 to 5 of them on our mobile phones. So all of them are hailing apps. That is, you book a cab and the one cab that you book comes at your doorstep, and you, a single person, can enter the cab and then you can ride to whatever place you want.
Yeah.
We are a sharing service. We are a ride sharing service where essentially you as a person will book a cab from one point to another, but when the cab arrives, it will either have 2 to 3 more other people, or even if you're the single person entering the cab will pick up 3 to 4, 2 to 3 other more people along the way, and then all of you guys will be left at the particular your desired hotspots or desired destinations wherever you enter while booking. The main reason why we chose this is because this is kind of a value proposition where we want to reduce the cost, we want to reduce the fare that is paid by the customers, because we are targeting audience whose paying power is fairly low. We are targeting people who use public transportation. We are offering an alternative for them. Maybe instead of spending 200 rupees on a particular ride-hailing auto, they would fairly be okay with spending a 60 rupees on a single auto with us, instead of spending maybe 40 rupees for a public transportation travel. So that is the place where we position, and that's our difference too.
Yeah, that's really incredible because this is a win-win situation. It also plays into the sustainability aspect. So instead of
Very
four
much,
people
yeah.
going out in four vehicles, you have one
Hmm.
vehicle taking them along, and it also cuts down to the fares. So it's really a win-win situation.
Exactly.
Um, you have over 200 users and 30 drivers on board already. What strategies have you implemented to achieve this traction in just 1 month of starting?
It was more of on the creative point of view, because we understood that we being students, and we also are still bootstrapped till date, and we are rising around now, and we thought, okay, with the less amount of capital that we have in hand, let's do some things which are very very low budget, but at the same time have potentially high impact. And to bridge this gap, what we need is creativity. So we came across this wonderful marketing strategy of guerrilla marketing, wherein you kind of neurologically hit the people on getting the demand out for our product, where you're not telling them to use it, but you're indirectly telling them to use it. So we sat together, and we have a good set of marketing team who ideates the strategies for us, and the executors are us itself, so we founders itself. So whenever we ideated, we thought, okay, let's not just go to them and tell that, okay, there's an application, go download in Play Store, and then you can book an auto or share auto or whatever. You can share it to 2 to 3 other people. We thought, okay, this is what any other traditional brand would do. This is what any other company would do. Obviously, the touch points would be higher, wherein you kind of put an advertisement on TV, you put an advertisement on YouTube, you put an advertisement on Insta, and apart from that, you are also putting a poster up, a big poster up on the, like, let's say, on the road. So the touch points are higher, and that's thus it would get lead to the conversion. But we thought for us, we don't have that much of budget in order to cost that many touch points. Let's work on single touch point. Rather, let's hit it so hard that it's literally touched on their heart. That's when we used to act as strangers. We used to get into an auto along with the other people, and we used to talk to the driver saying, brother, see how hard it is for you to go like this and like that. And what if you think there was an application, that can help you solve these points? They're like, oh, damn, that's interesting. So tell me more about it. And that's when we used to kind of slightly move away from being a stranger to a QPo guy. And we used to say, so we recently heard there are a few bunch of folks who are doing an application called QPo. Maybe in your free time, try to go to Play Store and check it out. And then later on, if that guy is pretty interested, we used to tell that, so brother, okay, do you want more details? I think I have a touch with them. I can maybe share their contact details with you. Some of them used to say, yeah, sure, share. Whatever you're doing seems interesting. So this is from the driver's point of view. And from the passengers and customers' point of view, we used to, ride with them in buses. We used to sit with them in bus stops and other places, and we just used to talk, dude, I have to wait so long for a bus. And I don't have that much cash also in my pocket or GPay to, maybe book an auto by myself. Okay, do you mind sharing an auto with me? And that person used to be like, no, I don't know you or something, and neither do I know whether you are a verified passenger. And then we used to be like, oh yeah, that's true. What if there's an application for that? It would be great, right? And then other person from our team used to come and he was like, oh hi, I was hearing about sharing of something of sorts, and then he used to introduce people. So the single person, and we used to purposefully talk loudly so that other people would hear. And obviously it was slightly bad manners, but we just need advertisements outside. Yeah, and 3 to 4 other people would understand, and we used to immediately get more and more installs and conversions on our application. So these are some good things that we implemented to reach this particular scale. Apart from that, whatever normal WhatsApp sharing, Insta stories, and those things were always there.
So I'm a marketing person at Mega Bhavan Foundation, and I am
Okay.
really inspired by this. And this is very nice. You found your audience segment, you went there and
Yeah.
did all this kind of field work. I think that's really cool, and I think that is smaller budgets force you to be more creative in terms of how you are getting that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that is really something that is not a handicap but a plus point for a smaller company.
Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans for scaling this venture in the near future?
With respect to scaling, since as I mentioned before, since we are more of a local brand and we are a community-based brand, we want to target small regions like how we have started off in a particular region called OMR in Chennai. Similarly, there are multiple other regions in Chennai itself where there is a good small community and these kind of rides make sense. So we will be expanding to more such regions. And for every such region, there's a good set of auto stands, there's a good set of drivers, there is a good set of passengers also who commute every day. So we'll be expanding at different points to in Chennai. And with this, we will connect the entire Chennai ecosystem. Basically, let's say we form small hubs and then connect each hub with a small line so that the entire Chennai is connected. Instead of saying that we can go from anywhere to anywhere, we are smalling small regions and then telling, okay, this region is one community, that region is another community, and we will do some things within the community so that people there are engaged too. And that's our vision with respect to Chennai. And then soon, with the Chennai track record, we can move to tier 2 and tier 3 cities also.
Okay, perfect. So that brings me to my final question. So there are a
Okay.
lot of students who want to have their own ventures, and there are young budding entrepreneurs. What advice would you give to them?
With respect to that, I would say, as I mentioned earlier in the challenges question, try to be part of that 1% instead of the 99% of the people who are just doing something for the sake of it. Try to do something which you are actually doing, which you want to establish a company for, which you want to scale it up to, to crores and millions and billions of revenues. So that is one major factor. And also, secondly, this is the best time to start. That is when you are a student, it's the best time to experiment with your life. It is one of the best times also because you're hardly taking any risk. Even if your company goes out of totally out of business, or even if the company fails also entirely, which hopefully doesn't happen, you will still be left with a good fair amount of 30, 40, 50 years in life. Because now let's say most of your, let's say roughly you are 20 years old, which is kind of the average age of a student. And imagine starting up at 20 years old and then failing, let's say after 2 years, you're still 22. You still have a life till 60 or 70. Imagine starting a company after quitting a job at 35 or 40 years old or 30 years old. Then you literally, you don't have the 10 years of lifespan wherever you could have experimented a lot of things. So most of the driving force which we have is because of the energy and because of the young enthusiasm which we carry with ourselves. And that does not have to do with anything else apart from our young age. So let's say if I was a 25-year-old, 30-year-old, I would not have the energy or the creativity which I'm having at this point. Obviously, there will be other benefits, but in terms of at least energy, this is one of the best time when your adrenaline and your, entire everything is totally pumped up. So utilize it for some good factors.
You really put it well in terms of what people think, what if I fail? You pull them back to a vantage point and
Yeah,
just
exactly.
22 when you fail. So that's
Right, very
a
much.
good idea for people to think about and take into perspective the energy. So
Hmm.
that brings us to an end of this. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. And is there anything else you would like to add?
I think no, nothing more. And this is a just a final line in terms of which I already re-emphasized. I cannot re-emphasize more on this. If you are a student, if you want to be an entrepreneur, try to be among the 1% and work so freaking hard to be part of the 1% and show to the outside world that you are part of the 1% instead of the 99% of the people who are bound to fail. Rather, let's try to, even if you are part of the 99%, unfortunately, let's bounce back and try to be part of that 1%.
I think that's really inspirational. So, anyone in Chennai, I urge you guys to download QPo Cabs on the App Store. And thank you.
Yeah, all you have to go is do, just 3 letters. You can also see as part of my, I think this
Yeah,
right? Yeah, this
yeah,
side.
this
Yeah,
side.
all you have to do is just go to Play Store and type 3 letters QPO and you will find our application on top.
Okay, thank you so much.